Welcome to Frieren Beyond Journey's End, episode 11. Anyways, Aura's dead. Let's find out. Oh yeah. Yeah, here's Frieren just walking on the corpses of her enemies. The KYA Frieren. You guys know what KYA means, right? Yeah, I think you do. Oh, I'm sorry. She's okay. I'm respectful. We're still learning about the earrings, by the way. I thought they were Flama's earrings, but they're not, because her earrings were different. But I think, if I remember correctly, her earrings look like what Flame was wearing around her neck, I think. Right? It looked like what she was wearing around her neck, so that may have been it. But there's only one of them, so I don't know why she has two of them now. And one thing I noticed is that when Frieren and Himmel met, she didn't have the earrings yet. So that means she probably didn't get the earrings from her master. Maybe she got them from Himmel or something. I don't know. But I've since learned, how they met. So I forgot to mention that. So we learned how Himmel and Frieren met. And it seems like Himmel, Heiter, and Eisen were already traveling together before they met Frieren, which is kind of interesting. Last episode was chocked full of lore and stuff I learned. Obviously, probably stuff I missed. But regardless, there's still a crap ton of stuff that I don't know that I still want to learn about. Well, we got a huge chunk of it out of the way. I just have a new chunk that moved right in its spot. But we're gonna see. Have I said I love the intro enough, by the way? I really do. I need to watch the outro more. I've only listened to it like 2 times maybe. I usually skip it just because I pause at the very end and just move on to the next episode when I'm ready. Maybe today I'll listen to the outro or the ending credits just to remember the song. Because I don't think I've ever analyzed the ending. I need to look at that just to see kind of what it has in it. I have some beef. When do we meet her, dude? I'm so, like, every time I see her in the intro, I've now seen, I try to avoid spoilers, but my X account, by the way, if you want to follow me over there, I usually post when videos go live if you don't get notifications here on YouTube. Yeah, anyways, what I was saying, on my X account, I also repost Frieren stuff every now and then because I see memes. I only repost the ones I understand, but I also don't repost ones that have spoilers for myself. But that's my point, though. I'm at the point now where I'm seeing things on my timeline that aren't spoilers, but it's like characters. Like, who in the world is the green-haired girl? People love this green-haired girl, dude. She's all over my timeline. I don't know. I think she comes way later. I think I gotta stay off the internet. That's the problem, I think, with the internet nowadays, dude. It's like spoilers are okay sometimes. Like, if you want to learn, if you want to get so, like, deeply entrenched in the lore, like, having a spoiler is fine, I guess. But my thing is, I like to be spoiler free, you know? I don't know. What I mean by that is some people are fine with spoilers. That's what I mean. Not me. I try to avoid spoilers completely if I can. But the problem is, I've since gotten so into Frieren that now when I see a photo of someone cosplaying Frieren, I like it. Okay? And what does that do? Well, this cosplayer uses hashtag Frieren in her post. What that means is that I like that. So now the algorithm's like, oh, this dude loves Frieren. And now I'm seeing some green-haired girl. It's like, dude, the internet and spoilers, it's crazy. It's my fault. It's absolutely my fault. I'm just saying, I need to stay off the internet till I'm further in, and that is a problem. that's a really big problem, and it's terrible. But I will say, I am happy to say that beyond just seeing pictures of characters, I don't ever read the post. I just look at if I know the character. So I haven't gotten any spoilers from, like, the story or the lore. It's just seeing new characters I've never seen before, like the green-haired girl, now the blonde. I know, my whole point that I paused here, when do we meet her? I want to meet her. She seems cool. Is she not cool? Do we hate her? Don't tell me. If you tell me, that's a spoiler. But I'm guessing that we do not hate her. I'm guessing we like her. Is she based, or is she, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Good to see my boy Stark is up on his own 2 feet, huh? Oh, same with Granite too, by the way. Yeah, so this one, and then there's a blue crystal, right? Sorry, I didn't even... So there's the... Okay, unless that's a different necklace. Those might be different necklaces. But I do remember the blue crystal one, aside from Granite's family necklace. And then that... I don't remember seeing anyone wearing that one, but... They must have significance. They probably do. I was correct, though. She was using some type of, like, necromancy-style magic where she controlled past heroes. Now, obviously, we know that she was using the Scales of Obedience, and they're forever under her control for all of eternity, until either she dies or until, for some reason, that chain is broken, right? They explained it a lot more in depth, but yeah, my point being here, though, is it seems like even though they're all empty suits of armor, and even though it was that obedience skill, I don't, when I say necromancy, I assume you guys know what I'm talking about. I know that's not accurate, but it does seem like I was correct in assuming that every single one of these was a full-fledged guard or a hero, right? Probably during the war, during one of the wars, dude. I feel like there's so many wars that go on. Yeah, I don't know why I paused here. I just need to give context, I guess, but I'm kind of understanding where we're going with this. My reincarnation theory, dude. My reincarnation theory is getting even more possible. Frieren said Himmel would get angry when she casted flashier spells to take down the guards and the enemies. We already knew this. We learned this last episode, I think, where Aura was like, huh? That's a new spell. And then, Frieren was like, oh, Himmel didn't like it when I did flashier spells or whatever. However, now Stark here is saying he'd be angry too. He wouldn't want you to do a flashy spell either. He would want you to keep it subtle and pure, sensible, not flashy. Reincarnation confirmed? I think maybe. Yo, Frieren just said what every single child has always wanted to hear. Frieren is proud of her daughter and her son. That is wonderful to see. Slice of life moment if I've ever seen one. So I just want to say, Fern said something funny here. She said that Himmel, or she said Mr. Himmel trained you well, and then she said don't put it that way, but I don't think she's wrong, though. I mean, just saying. Himmel, so far, Frieren has been living her life in a certain way, following the rules of a certain Himmel. Yo, that makes me so happy for Granite, it really does. I've really grown to like him quite a bit. I don't think we're going to get a lot more time in this town. I think they're about to move on beyond the Northern Lands, or probably in the Northern Lands, but beyond this town within the Northern Lands. And even if that's the case, I hope that we get to see Granite again at some point, because I kind of like him. I've grown to like him. I know that this is just how it works. They're going to move on. They're traveling to... Guys, don't forget, we have a goal of going to the Demon King's castle, okay? I think all of you are forgetting that. No, but really, I do hope we get to see Granite again. Seems like a really cool guy. We got to know all of his lore. We got to know the history of the town. We got to know how important this place is kind of to Frieren and her understanding. We just got to understand Frieren's experience in this area, and it's interesting, and I'm happy that we got to see that, and I hope that we get to see Granite again. This is a really beautiful moment. It absolutely is. Makes me really happy for Granite too. And he was able to be saved. Big ups to Stark there, right? For for carrying my man out. But yeah, it's really nice that he got closure. That is really good. Himmel and Eisen were almost executed by the king because of how they spoke to him. I wanted to go back. I just wanted to see if there's any information here that was important. It's funny that Eisen is just sitting there accepting his fate. Bro's not even shaking like he's scared. But that's a cute little Frieren and Heiter there, though. They're kind of just begging. I do remember this. I remember that. I remember even in the middle of him saving Granite, Bro was like, dude, you just committed a major crime speaking to me in such a way. Like, I remember that. I would hope that they wouldn't throw Stark in prison here because Bro saved his life. I'm just saying. I don't think you're going to be thrown in prison for, you saved his life, Stark. I don't see that happening. I'm just saying. Whatever, though. Bro definitely was flabbergasted by that, though. What has happened? I didn't know that was a thing. I knew she could pick up rocks in non-orgasmic organism. Like, I didn't realize they could pick up things that are alive with their float. Oh, so they have floating magic. Does she even carry her suitcase? Does she just? She carries it, but bro, what in the world? I'm just thinking, why don't she just use her magic to float around her suitcase? I don't know why, but for some reason I assumed that their magic couldn't pick up organisms or living creatures, but I guess it can. All right, sure, man. Maybe they have before. Maybe I just don't remember. I guess it makes sense that they can. Poor Stark, dude. Oh, that's another thing that we learned. We learned that a lot of Frieren's internal struggle on being notorious or being given the proper respects as a hero comes partially from her. I say partially, it could be fully, but my understanding is partially, probably to some extent, because at the end of the day it's still her decision to make. Some of that decision came from her master, because her master told her that she should stay in obscurity until she's able to defeat the Demon King. So what that means is, I'm curious if here specifically, if she respects the wishes of Granite and accepts this celebration because technically the Demon King has already been defeated. So now she no longer has to live in that obscurity. She no longer has to live in hiding if she doesn't want to, at least according to her master and how she described it. I understand why that was the case. It's because the Demon King has the Kill All Elves order, or he had the order. I know that's why, or I have a strong, pretty sure that's why. Flamma didn't want Frieren to, obviously, you know, be hunted down or anything like that. So I guess it's still a good idea to stay in obscurity because there are still demons out there. We know that because of Aura. We know that because of Qual. We know that they still exist in the world. But obviously the Demon King has been defeated and is now gone. I wonder who they're still following. I mean, now that I think about that, demons have a hierarchy. Do they have someone new to follow, or are they all just acting independently of their own volition or on their own accord? Or, you know what I mean? Like, do they have a new king to follow, or is that it? Is the hierarchy now completely changed forever after the Demon King was slew or slown? I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean? So I wonder if there is a new king or not. I guess we'll see here exactly how that goes. She's not outwardly rejecting it, so that I do think that is the case, that she's more willing to accept it now because the Demon King has been dealt with. Yeah, he's floating. He's magic. Ain't that crazy? Oh my god, dude. They got some big ass burgers. Bro, she's so happy too. Oh my god. Wait, why does hers have like lettuce in it and Fern's is just plain? Can I get me one? Dude, are those real? Can I get one of those? I assume they don't have meat in them. I assume it's just a big ass loaf of bread, but they're as big as their faces, dude. That's adorable. So are they getting, I guess they're getting new clothes then here from Granite and his city. It looks like Frieren's also borrowing a book, maybe a few books. So that means, this tells me that they've been here at least a certain amount of time. I assume they're staying here until Stark's wounds are healed, just for resting to some extent. Maybe. It may tell us how long they've been here, but it does seem like they're getting some new clothing, as well as spending a little time here to rest and relax, which makes sense, obviously. I mean, we saw what just happened in the past, like, 40 minutes. You know what I mean? Beautiful song, by the way. I'm sorry for pausing. I know that the people watching the full one probably want to hear the full song, but it is I'll probably let it play here unless I see something that I actually want to talk about. But I like the song. Bro is eating. Oh my god, he's so cute. The little black one eating that's adorable, dude. Fern still being the mother of the group, I see. So it looks like they're leaving, but it didn't specify how long they'd been there. So there's a magic association. I know they're about to talk about it. How does Fern know about this? They've been together for like, how many years have they been together now? Like 5 years? And you're telling me this whole time that, no, like 7 years, 7 or 8 years now total. Because the 5 or 6 years with Heiter, and then the 2 to 3 years with Frieren. So yeah, it's been close to 10 years, I think. Well, it's less than 10 years. I'm going to say less than 10 years, but more than 5 or 6 years. More than 6 years, less than 10 years. Somewhere in that range. So you're telling me this whole time Fern knew about a continental magic association, yet Frieren had no idea? I guess that makes sense. We kind of learned that she grew up in more of a backwoods. I don't know if I should say backwoods, but she grew up more in like a wooded elf village where her magic was very... I guess it was more so like free running, right? It was like her... just learning magic and being her out there just vibing. She didn't need to go to any type of association or institute to learn how to do the magic. So I was kind of right about this. I knew there was a mage school or a magic school. I'm guessing this is it. I didn't know what it was called, but I knew it existed. So I got confirmation of that. It's crazy that Fern knows and Frieren doesn't, though. What is going on, dude? I pressed the up key. Don't break my crap. What do you mean you got one in the capital? Oh god, she's only a third-rate magician. That's wild, though. Wait, so Fern got hers when she was in the capital, yet... Did we see that? Did I miss that? I don't think so. I don't think I missed that. I feel like if that happened, they would have shown that to us. Or, like, if they shown that to us, I would have remembered it. Probably not. They probably waited to show it here. They may show a flashback, but it seems like they probably just waited to show it here. Kind of wild that Frieren didn't get one, though. I feel like Frieren would be a first-rate mage, right? I wonder if it existed 1,000 years ago, too, whenever her master, Frieren's master, was around. Because now I'm kind of wondering, like, she was known as a legendary mage, but did she actually get recognized by this institution? Or was she just kind of like Frieren, where she's just, like, a badass mage, yet doesn't have a piece of paper to prove it. I'm pretty sure that is a German word, and I'm saying more and more German as time goes on. There was some things that happened. I don't think I need to go over a lot of it because I've kind of already spoke on some of it. The CMA, I think I'm going to call it the CMA instead of saying Continental Mages Association or Magic Association. So I'm just going to call it CMA. So the CMA has been around for half a century, it seems, according to, I guess, Fern and Stark, because apparently even Stark has heard of it. And Frieren, she has a holy emblem, which had like horns on it. It looked kind of cool. I'm guessing that was, she got that maybe a long time ago, so maybe that was like the previous certification. And then Fern called it an antique. So my guess is that Frieren just kind of gave up getting the certification because they kept changing standards. That's what she said. I mean, I don't blame her. If I was alive for 2,000 years and every 500 years I had to... Honestly, that's kind of how it is in real life. I don't know how many of you have certifications or have to get, like, technical certifications, for example. Like, as an example, there's this thing called CompTIA, which has a lot of IT certifications, and you have to get recertified every, like, 3 to 5 years. Some of them you don't have to recertify. If you get, like, your CISSP or something, you have to recertify, I think. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've had to take any of these certifications or even ever did. It's like every couple years you have to recertify. You don't just get to keep it. It's like, oh, you learned this thing 3-4 years ago. Yeah, you don't have it anymore after 3 years. You got to redo it every 3-4 years or whatever. It makes sense, right? Because there's always new information being released and they always want to retest you. But I feel like in this case, imagine having to get a new certification for magic every 500 years. I guess that the only people who could even do that would be what, like dwarves or elves. Elves, probably. Dwarves, they would pretty much only get one, right? Because I don't think dwarves generally live to be 500, like a couple hundred maybe, but not like 500. I don't know. I'm just giving an example, by the way. It's just funny to think that Frieren this whole time is a underground back alley mage, just doing magic for just doing magic illegally. That's just funny to think about. In my mind, I feel like if you're the mage that defeated the Demon King, you should have an honorary first class mage like sticker attached to you immediately, I would feel like. But that's just me. Maybe I'm just a nice guy, you know? Who knows? I'm hoping that we get to meet more elves soon. That is something I'm very excited for. Because like I said, I've now seen not the purple haired lady. That was Aura. Or did she have pink hair? I don't know. I'm hoping we get to meet the blonde haired girl soon and the green haired girl soon. Because I think they're both elves. I really want to see more elves. I'm thinking once we get to the CMA, we're going to run into more elves. I do believe that because I feel like mages... Or, god dang, I keep mixing, I'm sorry. I think that elves are one of the few races that can continuously maintain their magic prowess and build upon it to continually push the bounds of magic. You know what I mean? Obviously, human mages exist and they can become powerful and make a lot of impact, but I feel like with all the time that elves have, the specific ones that gain these magical abilities and are able to push forth that magical ability that they have, I feel like they are kind of at the core of the CMA, maybe. Unless it's kind of like a council situation where it's been around for this long, but it continuously changes human owners or a human council, but it continuously changes the seats, which makes sense, obviously. There's a lot of like government-based systems or educational or institute-based systems that have that same setup. If it is an entire association full of mages, there has to be at least another elf in there, right? I just want more elves, dude. The last elves we saw were slaughtered, and it was in Frieren's village. That's all I'm asking for. It's as simple as that. Goodbye, Granite. It was great to see you. I hope I get to see you again. Oh, they got new clothes on, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw their scarves and their jackets. They got all kinds of new clothes on. I don't think that's true, Frieren. I think you're lying. She said, during the war with the Demon King, what do you think claimed the most lives? Sorry, I just had to sit with silence for a second, just to get my point across. She said the winters did. I mean, the snow could have taken a lot of lives, but I think there's one thing over the snow that is also the same color as the snow that absolutely did a lot bigger, or had a lot bigger impact on the lives of those involved. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there, you know. Oh, wait a minute. Doesn't Frieren hate the... Oh, God, poor Stark. Oh, my God, poor Fern. I feel like at this point, I feel bad for Frieren, though, more than Fern and Stark, because if I remember correctly, doesn't she kind of hate the cold? Isn't the cold like her mortal enemy? She doesn't seem as bothered by it here, but I do remember that. Episode 11, Winter in the Northern Lands. Oh, and Stark passed out, by the way. And they're lost. Oh, hold up, we're getting something new here. 28 years later after the death of... So it's really just a few months have passed. They really have not even gone to year 29 yet. All this is happening within the same year, essentially. Yeah, anyway, Stark has passed out and they're lost. For some reason, Stark passed out. I wonder if this is indicating that because they're mages, maybe they have a higher... or maybe because Stark is not a mage, he has a higher sensitivity to the cold, maybe in this sense, which makes him pass out. I don't know if there's an indication of that, or it could be due to his previous wounds. I'm not sure why specifically he passed out. There may be some reasoning here. It could just be circumstantial, like, or it just could be by happenstance, right? It could have just happened. It might not be that serious or that specific because he's, you know, a human, or not a human, but because he's not a mage. It might not be that. I don't know. It is just kind of weird that he specifically passed out. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot, or I didn't forget, but I didn't bring that up. Himmel and, you know, the heroes party with Frieren, obviously, they went through this already once, 80 years ago. So even though they're lost, I mean, they still have some direction. I mean, they still have some, you know, idea of which way to go, it seems. What'd they do? Meet a nice little family out here in the middle of the snow? Huh? Excuse me? Oh, did the ears give it away? What do you... Okay, I was about to say something. So, Frieren, this guy and Frieren have never met, okay? The way Frieren walked in the door so casually, I thought, okay, maybe they knew each other. But then Fern pulled her out, and then she said, pardon the intrusion. So that made me think, okay, they probably don't know each other. But then I had to rethink, and I was like, wait, Frieren said she hadn't met another elf in like 400 or 500 years, and now this guy's saying like 300 years. And so, like, in my mind, I was like, how could she have found this place 80 years ago if... there was an elf living here? That means she would have met an elf 80 years ago, so that means this guy wasn't here 80 years ago. And I was like going back and forth, you know? I didn't quite piece it together. My bad. The puzzle is now a little bit more put together. Why did a Fern immediately call this guy a pervert and then like pull Frieren out the door? Bro was just exercising. Dude was just doing squats. Dude was literally just doing squats with his shirt off in the privacy of in a house. And it's like, Frieren's the one who opened the door and went inside. So if anybody, shouldn't Frieren be considered the... I don't see Fern's logic here. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm on the side of Fern here because I don't know about this guy. He could be one. But at the same time, I feel like Fern's still kind of in the wrong here with that. It's also kind of interesting that Frieren was surprised that this guy asked that she was a mage. Pretty obvious to tell when you're or not a mage, an elf. It's pretty obvious to tell when someone's an elf, I feel like. Call me a little bit elfist, but I feel like I could tell an elf apart from a human. I just feel there's something about it. I just feel like I could tell. It's just interesting how nonchalant they interact with each other here. Considering she hasn't seen an elf in 400 or 500 years. He hasn't seen one in 300 years. They just seem very nonchalant with each other, which is kind of funny. And also it's funny how Frieren walked in and was like, whatever. Especially since she hasn't seen an elf in like a couple hundred years. I mean, I assume she knows that knew that he was an elf as soon as she saw him. I don't know. That's just, this whole thing was kind of funny. Is this guy gonna join their group? I don't want to call it beforehand, but I'm kind of hoping not. I'm kind of in this weird place of I don't want anyone else to join their group. Is that weird of me? I kind of just wanted to stay the three of them. Maybe that's wrong of me. I don't know. I just feel like I've gotten so connected with all three of them. I don't think we need to add a fourth person, but I could understand if we did, because obviously the original party had 4 people, so I would completely understand it. I would not be upset. I don't think I would just be... I've just gotten so connected with these 3. I feel like adding somebody new... I don't know. Let me see if I like this person. I don't even know if I like this guy yet. I think I'm judging him too soon. I wonder if there's something wrong with Stark. I wonder if he has some type of... not disease, but some type of, illness maybe, or something wrong with him. Maybe that's why he passed out. That would be a good reason, I think. Or it would make sense, I mean. No, the Jumbo Berry special with little icing coming out the bottom. No, don't go towards the light, Stark. No. Okay. No, fair enough. Fair enough, me too. Me and who, by the way? Me and who? Bro's not even... I'm dying, dude. I'm dying. Okay. Oh god, Fern with her little suitcase. Oh. Hope you had a good nap. Oh god. I didn't expect that. No, that's nice of you. What's his name? We still haven't learned his name. When are we gonna get Brody's name? You know, we need his name already. Hey, Stark recognizes game and I respect it. dude don't care about who's around. I respect it, dude. Stark recognizes. You know what? Just so Stark's not alone in this, bro has a banger of a body. I mean, I like how it glistens, alright? He did say his name. His name is Kraft, right? Sorry, I literally just said out what's his name. Yeah, his name's Kraft. I forgot he did say that with Frieren the Mage, and they all introduced themselves. I was so, sorry, I got so focused on thinking about something else. But yeah, his name is Kraft, like the mac and cheese. Don't a lot of times monks offer like healing services or some type of like healing? I know Heiter was a priest who also, you know, had healing abilities. Don't they sometimes offer the same subset of skills? I want to say that monks and priests are some of the most common healing classes. I could be wrong. I think paladin's also up there if you want to do like a... I feel like I've seen healing paladins before. So I'm trying to piece this together, like, is he going to join the group? A lot of what we've seen has only been these three, and we have not seen him included. I think he's in the intro, the opening. I believe is in the opening at least like one time. I think I remember seeing him carry the sack on his back at least once in the opening. Yeah, maybe he has a bigger part to play than I know. I don't know. All right, little montage, but I just want to say I feel bad for Fern here. Kraft asked Frieren if she knows asked her more about her. Fern opened up that she was with the party of heroes, all that stuff. But it's interesting that he specified before that. So I think Kraft may have some idea who Frieren is, maybe. He may be playing a little dumb. I don't know. He said he doesn't, but I don't know. I don't know his character yet, but I feel like he knows something. Because why would he ask that specifically, I feel like? Maybe he's just trying to learn things. He said he hasn't seen another elf in 300 years, but it's possible that he just knows her story or to a certain extent, or maybe he knew Flamme. Very possibly. He is a monk. He's not a mage, so there's no telling what information he has. But I don't know. We'll get more into it. I just wanted to show you this. So they're eating, but then they're all covered up, but poor like Fern here is just freezing because Frieren stole all the covers. Poor Fern, dude. And then Stark is here exercising, getting his body heat up, you know. You know, something else that has also really interested me is the religion of this whole thing. I've talked about it before, but the religion aspect of this is interesting because they speak of a place called heaven, yet now we're seeing multiple people pray at different points in during their day. In different scenes, we're seeing them pray. I guess the way I'm seeing this is, who are they praying to? Because if they believe a heaven exists, does that mean they also believe a potential God exists or some type of entity, omnipotent force that manages all life or all creation of life or something like that exists as well? Is that what they're trying to indicate here, that heaven itself is possible for a human to reach? But even though it's possible for a human to reach heaven, or not a human, but a living creature to reach heaven, that heaven itself is not occupied by this force or this god. Instead, this is just a place that exists for souls, but it may not be particularly where the god of this world exists, but they're still praying to something. Or they could just be praying to again, there's a whole thing of like with religions, it could be pagan gods, it could be any type of mythological god. I mean, it could be Norse mythology, it could be Japanese folklore. I mean, it could be anything, right? I'm sure they mentioned it before and maybe I just haven't caught it, or maybe I don't quite know everything. It could be a very common trope, like the type of god they're praying to, or it could just be manners, them just praying in a sense, or thanking nature for giving them food, or thanking the life force or the just life for the food, which is an admirable thing and a thing that happens. So I mean, it's not that surprising. It's just interesting to think that they're able to reach heaven potentially, yet they're still praying to a god or some type of entity for giving them food, or they're saying thanks for the food to something. And I know that Kraft mentioned that, you know, he was blessed by the mistress or some type of being, but then again, I think this world also has like what the real world has, where it's everyone has their own beliefs, I feel like. So it's just interesting to see that they all kind of have their own. Anyways, with little montage, I don't remember if I mentioned this, but they're forced to stay in this cabin for at least a limited amount of time, or I should say an indefinite amount of time, because of the snow. So they're probably going to be here with Kraft for a little bit. I don't know how long, but I feel like something is going to interrupt them here. Oh my god, is that a seed rat? 6 months! Oh my god, dude. Kraft said it's been 6 months. They've been here for 6 months. My god. So that means winter's pretty much done with. I mean, or winter's about to end or something. My goodness. So they pretty much just stayed here through the entire winter. Did they? I wonder if the original party stayed here for 6 months too. So This is cool. So we're going to get to learn a little bit here. But I want to say one thing because the monk said that she was a pious girl. But I want to say something I noticed in the montage. In the first instance, Stark was eating his bread while Fern and Kraft were praying. In the second section of the montage, because it showed like a long one, so the second time it showed them eating, Stark was praying with Fern and Kraft, yet Frieren was eating her bread. At least that's how I remember it. I may be a little bit wrong on that, but I do remember specifically Stark and Frieren were eating in two separate scenes there. I believe Fern and Kraft were praying in both, though. I think that maybe what this is in reference to is that every time that they ate, I think that Frieren prayed... Fern prayed with Kraft while Stark and Frieren kind of took it at a... They didn't... Not respect it. I don't want to say they didn't respect it. They didn't pray as often, so that was probably just something they did occasionally, while Fern and Kraft probably prayed at every meal. Now we're going to learn about the goddess. This is kind of what I've been curious about in terms of the religious aspect of it. We'll see how much they go into detail. I was right then. So it is some type of like this entity or this omnipotent being of creation that essentially is known as this god or goddess of creation from a mythological standpoint. That is fascinating. So it is kind of like a god, or it is like a religious figurehead. That's cool. That's interesting. So that does kind of showcase that even though there is a place called heaven, it could technically be a completely separate type of religious concept outside of the goddess of creation. So this could be a completely different religion, but it may not be the correct religion. Heaven could be this place of where souls go, but it may not be an actual god location. I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say, but it's like I know. What do you mean you're young? You're young? How old is this guy? Frien's 1,000. I mean, that means this guy's what? Like 3,000? Okay. So the goddess is presumed to be living in heaven. Okay, we got just a few quick things. Heiter was an orphan. That explains a lot. He literally funded the reconstruction of a village's orphanage. How? How does my man have so much money? I mean, good for him, I guess. I guess he's gone on a lot of travels, I guess. I don't know. The thing with Kraft and Frieren was interesting as well. I liked his line. Kraft basically said, if you don't believe in the goddess, I'll praise you instead. It's like we already know that Frieren doesn't really want the recognition, but it's just interesting to think that there's people who are willing to see her as an idol or as a role model, or they see her as a being to look up to, even if she herself does not think that she has, even if she doesn't think that she's worthy of that recognition or those expectations. Yeah, so Himmel's here playing with the kids, but it's kind of funny because the kids are basically the same height as Eisen here, and one of them even looks like they're taller. I feel like that's a little rude. I'm sorry, Eisen. Bro's gonna hurt me, dude. Bro's gonna punch me. Bro's gonna give me a shadow dragon mark. I like how he says that as he takes a swig of his drink. Yeah, a pure and proper life. Exactly. Thank you, Frieren. I'm glad you picked up on it. Is it possible that Kraft and Heiter had some type of interaction, or is it just trying to portray that they have a similar outlook on life, or a similar outlook on existence, or something? I don't know. Or they have like similar perspectives. The priest and Kraft both believe in the goddess because they believe that it's the right thing to do, and it gives them something to continuously push their lives forward and learn from and respect and praise. Yet both of them said a very similar thing about, if you tell us about yourself, we'll praise you instead. I'm going to answer, by the way. I just need to get through this. I want to... Yeah. Dang, dude, Heiter picked up on it. I think a lot of what I'm getting from Heiter and Kraft now is that they praise the goddess because they believe that she is this all-powerful force that will protect them in the most difficult times. Yet, if Frieren were to tell Heiter and Kraft about herself, to give herself this viewpoint of a powerful force that they can trust in, they might switch their devotion, but it would still be the same. They would still be the same. Nothing would change. And I think that's interesting to say, that no matter who they praise or no matter who they look up to protect them and praise them, they still have the same outlook on life. They still have the same beliefs, regardless of who the person is at the end of the praising be. They both have... That kind of showcases that no matter what you believe in, no matter what God you believe in, or no matter what religion you have given your life to, or that you've dedicated your life to, you can still be a good person regardless of who it is at the end of that religious line. I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say. But the point is this. It's not who they praise, it's how they live their life, is what I'm getting from this. It is kind of crazy that Heiter knew that, though. That's crazy that Heiter picked up on that. I now see why Heiter is so respected. What is this foreshadowing thing that he's saying right now? Bro is saying his child will be a mage, yet the orphan girl that he saved and took into his home to protect became a mage. I don't know, there's got to be some, I say foreshadowing, but you know what I mean. That's wild. That is a wild thing to say. I mean, it came after that, so. Damn, dude, nice save start. My boy. She can fly, but still, good job. That indicates that she already spoke with Heiter and told him the truth and explained her story to him. Well, the story that we now know. I mean, so that means at the end of Heiter's life, he began praising Frieren. Now, I get that it's all probably some type of... I don't think he literally praised her in the same sense of, like, if you're praising a god. I understand that. I do believe it is some type of, like, lesser type of praising, but it's just very interesting to hear. It seems like she's happy just with Heiter's praise. Unless she's talking about Himmel, which would be kind of crazy. She might not even be talking about Heiter. I mean, I assume she is, but it would be crazy if she was talking about Himmel. It'd be crazy if she was just talking about all of them, to be fair. I don't know. The whole dynamic has been very strange with the original hero party. I'm trying to learn more about them, and we're learning more. I just feel like I've missed so much. I don't know. I'm sorry, what? A few centuries? Wait. That's so sad. Kraft literally was like, I'll see you in a few centuries. So that may not be the last time that Frieren ever meets him, but that's literally the last time Fern and Stark will ever meet him. That's kind of sad. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's just the way he casually said that. That was pretty. I liked that episode. Man, I don't know why. The commentary for this episode felt really subpar. I'm sorry about that. I don't know. I feel like this one was less so of me. I couldn't really come up with too many things to discuss, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know what it was about this one. Just my mind didn't flow like it had in previous episodes. There were some good moments in there, obviously. But towards the ending there where they met Kraft and everything, it was interesting. We got a nice little lore drop there with Heiter and learning about his interactions with Frieren. I've been wanting to learn more about that. It's interesting that Heiter was an orphan. That's a really good look at his personality and why he turned out the way he did, especially with him putting away his selfish desires or his vices to assist Fern with her life and to get her up and running. Like she's a car. I don't know what I'm talking about. But again, there was a lot of good moments in there. I think I picked up on some things. I probably missed a lot, but I do think that I got a general idea of it. Kraft seems cool. I don't know if we'll ever get to see him again. I hope so. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good. There was funny moments in the episode. I laughed. A lot of sweet moments. I don't think I have anything else to add, though, here at the end. Yeah. Regardless, though, it was nice. It was a good episode. I will say this is a good episode because we got to see our first elf in the entire series up to this point. And it's interesting to see that the interaction between Frieren and Kraft were just so nonchalant. Like, they didn't freak out like, oh, it's first elves I saw in a couple hundred years. They were just like, it's nice to see you. Like, they just acted like normal people seeing each other for the first time in, a couple years. God, another 6-month time skip is crazy. We've already had so much time pass. Why am I still talking? I don't know. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for hanging with me for episode 11.